So it's been a while since I've done one of these, so I figured I would. Hey, it's Halloween, or it's October anyway, so I figured why not do one here about the paranormal and not necessarily spooky stuff, but just kind of an overall broad look at what it is and could it exist. I'll probably be going off on tangents as well. So, first and foremost, I would like to say that I am of the open to mind variety, which I think is a very healthy way to look at things. At the end of the day, who am I, or who are you, or who are anyone to say that they have everything figured out? I believe in always allowing for the possibility that anything can happen, because this universe that we live in is just, I mean, we as humans, we're not so far removed from just being apes. So to think that we have everything figured out, we probably know less than 1% of what's out there. Um, and yeah, I just think it's the highest form of arrogance to think that you know what it's all about. You know if something exists or something doesn't exist. And you can quote science all day long. Well, science says this, science says that. Science is not a Bible either. And some people use science as a Bible. Well, science says this and science says that. Science is always changing, motherfuckers. Yeah, there are some fundamental facts that we know, that we think we know, but even those people will come up with reasons of why, hey, this might not be this way, this might not be that way. Science, if you really start getting into it and reading a lot of alternate thought processes that go on with it and theories and stuff, you realize it is very dogmatic. And nowadays, science is like a religion. If you come up with a different theory that goes against the grain in a sense, then you're laughed out of your whatever the fucking word is. I don't fucking know. Um, your colleagues laugh at you. You know, you're basically shunned in the community, and that's just such an unhealthy way of doing things. I mean, really, some of the best advancements in humanity have been from somebody going against the grain and saying, "Hey, well, guys, maybe it's this." I have a little bit of evidence to show that what we thought, well, how we thought things were, is actually kind of wrong. And see, what you have here is people who have dedicated their entire lives to a fundamental, little bit of a space issue on my phone there. Now that I have it to delete, I've deleted the whatever. I continue on here. So you have people who have dedicated their entire lives, academic lives, to a certain viewpoint, a fundamental facts about what, and they use that to base their knowledge in to further, science and their own development and the development of humanity in general. Um, when something challenges that, when something threatens to unravel everything in the way we think something should be, it's human nature to reject it, especially if you spent your entire lives believing that. It really is no different than religion. We like to hold science on a pedestal and say it's better, but really you're dealing with human nature. And human nature, it rejects what it finds uncomfortable. It does. Now, there are still people out there that pursue the truth no matter what. And if, oh man, fucking phone. Anyway, yeah, there are still people out there that, despite being uncomfortable with what they find, they pursue it. And, but yeah, I mean, this is just something that's always kind of bugged me, you know. And again, I know people are going to misconstrue what I'm saying as saying science doesn't, is wrong or whatever. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you always have to be open. You have to be open to the possibilities that you could be wrong. An open mind is essential for the development of a society. You know, if you're so closed-minded that you reject everything, then society is not going to grow. Society is going to become stagnant. Kind of what we're going through right now. People need to be a little bit more open-minded, in my opinion, about everything. And this is not necessarily about ghosts and aliens and all that other Bigfoot. I mean, you take, and yeah, that stuff sounds crazy, or to well, probably a lot of people out there, but I mean, you never know. Like I said, open mind. Like, okay, I think it exists because I just do. I've experienced things. Not necessarily. I mean, we kind of poke fun at the Canadian UFO thing, but you know, you just have to. When there's smoke, there's fire, and when there's trained pilots, and that's my big thing, trained pilots. When there's trained pilots who could spot anything in the air and know exactly what it is because that's their profession. When they're saying, hey, there's something that's not normal up here, you know, testimony from military pilots, commercial pilots, you name it, then you have to take it seriously. It doesn't mean that it's aliens, but you do have to take the subject matter seriously and examine it and study it. But real science refuses to do that because there's a stigma with it, and it's ridiculous. There shouldn't be a stigma with anything in life. There should be open minds and just the willingness to discover, and no matter where it may take you. And that's what drives me the fucking most crazy, is like they refuse to look into this stuff because they think they all have it figured out, that it couldn't possibly exist. It doesn't exist because it couldn't exist. And that's such a bullshit fucking reason. That's such a fucking narrow-minded bullshit reason to dismiss something. You know, nowadays, science is more about explaining okay, this is science in a nutshell these days. Science explains the uninvestigated instead of investigating the unexplained. That's science in a nutshell right now. It is. So, yes, and I've experienced ghosts. I mean, I'll probably do some vlogs about some of the ghost stuff that I've encountered and all that. Some of the stuff that can't be explained by a physics textbook. And one other thing, it's like you also have to look at it from this perspective. What if the paranormal now, ghosts, psychic phenomenon, whatever, is just science that we don't understand right now? You know, you take today's technology, holograms, talking to people on cell phones, stuff that we just, okay, well, obviously we know how this works. It's technology. But you take it back, you know, a couple thousand years and show peasants on the fucking farm, you know, they're going to think you're some kind of magical being. They're not going to understand it. You know, they're going to think that it's magic and it's supernatural. It's just science. So I mean, there's always that possibility. But the point is, don't have a closed mind about it. Always be open. Always ask questions about anything, whether it be the paranormal, what your government tells you, what you're fucking reading the newspaper, see on the news. Always question everything, because the truth is the most important thing. And when you're spoon-fed and told, always keep an open mind, always question everything, because that's how you grow as a person and as a society. Thanks for watching, and I'll do more of these.